Hey everyone, welcome to the Industry Show. I'm your host Nitin Bajaj, and joining me today is Shama Patel. Shama, welcome on the show.
Thank you, Nathan.
Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
let's get started with who is Shama?
Who am I? Professionally, I am an attorney by trade. And personally, I would say that I'm an entrepreneur and an artist by heart. I quit my legal career about 8+ years ago to launch two wellness brands. So I launched Air, which is a boutique fitness brand with about 20 locations nationwide. And then I launched a skincare company called Clean Your Dirty Face. And the skincare company has two arms. So we have a product line and we have a brick and mortar, kind of retail storefront line as well. So basically, I would say that both Air and Clean Your Dirty Face, they're an extension of me. They're artistic brands that are designed for today's woman who has limited time but wants results.
Sounds awesome. So you mentioned there are two pieces to Clean Your Dirty Face. Tell us a little more about that. Who's your ideal customer? You
Sure.
mentioned something about time and place, and also the size and scale of your operations and where you're going from here.
Sure. So basically, Clean Your Dirty Face, it's a skincare brand where we perform facials and we also have our own product line that we formulate and produce, manufacture everything ourselves from top to bottom. My brand is really designed with two goals in mind. It's designed for efficiency and effectiveness. So for someone like me, I'm actually my ideal client. So I have limited time. So I feel like if I'm going to spend my money and my time on something, I better see quick results, and otherwise I'm just not interested. So that's really what the brand focuses on. And in terms of size and scale of our operations, we are nationwide between the two brands. We're about 30 plus locations, and then with the product company, we ship nationwide as well.
Wow. Mm-hmm. And COVID, in person, the whole social distancing didn't seem like that stopped you in the past year. You were still expanding. So talk to us a little more about that.
Sure. So in 2019, we grew really, really fast. Like Clean Your Dirty Face grew really fast. Before then, we were just focusing on growing Air for the most part, but we grew really fast and we really intended for that momentum to continue in 2020. And then the pandemic hit. But because we have these two arms where we have retail storefronts and we have products, we pivoted. So we went straight into online sales for 2020, the rest of 2020. And then once 2021 hit, we just kind of went full speed ahead with opening up more brick and mortar stores. So I think it was just more about being smart and just pivoting rather than letting it stop us from growing.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about the biggest challenge you're facing as an entrepreneur.
Sure. I think that this is a challenge we would have probably faced in 2020, but now that everything kind of got pushed back 1 year in terms of the retail growth, I would say scaling and the growing pains associated with scaling is probably the biggest challenge we're facing. So, like for example, I mentioned that in 2019 we grew the skincare company really fast, and we went into 2020 with that same momentum, and we temporarily put that brick and mortar store growth on hold. But now we're moving full speed ahead, and there's a lot of pain that comes with building that infrastructure and hiring and training the right people. I think the hardest part of that is always identifying people and making sure that you're doing that correctly.
Mm-hmm. Did you, given that you had to pivot more on the e-commerce on the product side of the house, did that help you in any way that you could focus on the product itself? And what were some of the learnings that kind of came out of that?
Sure. I think that previous to the pandemic, we knew this product company was going to take off. Like that's how we were growing. That's how we were planning moving into 2020. So it's kind of, we were in the right place at the right time because we doubled the size of our warehouse at the beginning of 2020. Our operations were smaller. They were in Chicago, where most of my corporate team is headquartered. But our product leg was in Chicago, and I thought ahead in 2019, and I thought, there's no way we can grow this product company in metropolitan Chicago. So we need more space. We need more land. So we actually put the wheels in motion to open up a warehouse in Texas, and got a warehouse that was double in size, put all of that in place. And I think we opened that warehouse like March 1, 2020. And then everything shut down. Like we didn't know that was going to happen, and everything shut down. And here we were with a full warehouse, fully staffed, online, just ready to go. And so a lot of our customers who would have otherwise come into our, retail storefronts, they just pivoted to online. And I think we really grew our book of business nationally outside of the stores that, outside of the markets, I should say, that we were located in. And that's where I would say our biggest growth in 2020 came from the product side.
Any insight, or I would say interesting insight, that you gleaned from when you looked at what transpired and the pivot you had to make? Anything that stood out?
Anything that stood out, like during the pandemic, or just like a lesson learned?
Yeah, just a lesson learned, or something that you wouldn't have thought of otherwise, or something that just came across as you did make that pivot,
Mm-hmm.
and something that you were able to draw out from that.
Yeah, I mean, I think speaking specifically about this situation, I think previous to the pandemic, the product line existed solely as wholesale to our own stores, basically. So we're a franchise company. We also own our own corporate stores.
Mhm.
So, servicing our own stores with that product line is really important because this is the product that we're using in our facials as well. So I think that's where the biggest demand came from. That's why we introduced, such a wide range of products. But then during the pandemic, there was a really big opportunity for direct to consumer.
Mhm.
So it wasn't wholesale anymore. It was more DTC. And now that we're out of the pandemic, I mean, that's one area that I probably wouldn't have grown or focused on as much. And I'm probably still not going to focus on it as much. But it's there. It exists now, where we have people from markets where we don't have locations. Like, get random people from like Northern California and New York and New Jersey, just like ordering our products online. And you're sitting there thinking, like, how'd you hear about us? Right. But so that DTC model is something that was very unexpected, that came out of the pandemic for us.
That's really interesting. What's the biggest opportunity you're looking at or targeting right now?
Right now, I think the pandemic really presented a lot of opportunities
Mhm.
for us. I like to say the pandemic simply accelerated trends that we were already seeing pre-pandemic. And so pre-pandemic, I would say I was just going, going, going. I didn't really have much time to stop, think, and breathe. But that time that I got during the pandemic was so valuable. And I think I just have so much more clarity in terms of where and how I want to grow now. I see endless opportunities with my skincare brand, both on the product side and the retail side. And I'm in the process of rebuilding my infrastructure right now so that we can continue scaling. So, we opened up 3 Clean and Dirty Face locations in 3 months. I mean, what are we in April now? And we've already opened up 3 starting January. So I think we can keep up with that pace. We're going to see some really great things happening for our company in the coming years.
It's really exciting. And are you continuing to expand as a franchising operation? Are you opening, what's the percentage of company owned stores versus franchise stores?
I think previously it was all franchise. We were 100% franchise. Now we're moving into corporate stores as well. So the three that we opened at the beginning of this year were all corporate. I think we'll continue to build a lot more corporate stores and just be a little bit more strategic about who we're going to be franchising with moving forward while we scale.
Makes sense. Well, let's switch gears a bit now
Sure.
and talk about you.
Okay.
And the way we want to do that is through a series of one-line life lessons.
Okay.
So I'm going to put the ball in your court and share some lessons with us.
Okay. Life lessons. I have so many sayings, but I think one of the ones is you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. And basically what that means is if you have people or someone in your life, whether it be professionally or personally, who really doesn't value the same things that you do, you have the power to change that. It doesn't mean you have to have some big, dramatic fallout or anything. It just means you need to put your wheels in motion to protect yourself and your well-being a little bit, right? So that's more, I guess, philosophical. In more applicable in business, I would say, I can't take credit for this quote. I love Sarah Blakely, the founder of, the Spanx, but she said, hire slow, fire fast. And any entrepreneur will tell you that one of the biggest challenges in business is hiring. So pre-pandemic, like I said, we were growing so quickly, and erroneously, I thought that by hiring more people, that somehow it would alleviate the growing pains, right? And the reality was that it worsened things. I think a lot of the people that I hired came into my office thinking that they knew better and didn't necessarily execute on my strategy. And now post-pandemic, I'm, continuing to grow my team, but I'm taking my time to select them very carefully. So I'm a very perceptive person. And so if someone, a team member does something that makes me feel like they're not the right fit for my company, I'll just fire them immediately. I don't sit and agonize over it anymore. I just feel like if you let the people who are not a good fit for your company stay too long, they'll eventually infect the good employees too. So that's one of the life lessons I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah. More?
What other lessons do you have? Yeah.
Okay. So life doesn't come without sacrifice. That's something that I truly believe in. For example, when I chose the path of entrepreneurship, it came at a price. I was also choosing to skip out on traveling and social outings with friends and, kind of be lonely and have no personal life and sacrifice everything near and dear to me just for a chance at greatness, right? So I think spectators can often think that these businesses get built into overnight successes, but it's not true. It takes so much sacrifice, dedication, focus, blood, and sweat. And, I've been blessed with some amazing friends, and I see them traveling the world and enjoying their lives. And sometimes it stings because you can't join along. And I just think that everything has a price, and you have to be aware of what you're getting into.
True. And sometimes we live vicariously through our friends, right?
Yeah.
That do get the chance to travel.
Right.
But one thing you said that makes a lot of sense is you're sacrificing a lot.
Yeah.
The results are not guaranteed, though.
No, they're not. They're not guaranteed.
And in some ways, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Look what happened during the pandemic. I think a lot of people worked really hard towards something, and then boom, it was taken away in a second. So, you have to be the right entrepreneur to pivot and to rebuild and to do all of those things. And I think these last 12 months, a lot of people got weeded out, and nothing is ever guaranteed. You're right.
True. And in some ways, it also makes us more committed to what we are doing. Right. Knowing that success is not guaranteed, and anything, a macroeconomic situation could play out that just takes things out of your control. not losing faith is, I guess, one of the qualities we need to have as entrepreneurs.
Think it's just who has the most staying power,
Yes.
who's just going to go in every day and still show up, right?
Yep.
That sometimes that's what just separates entrepreneurs from everybody else, right? Um,
True.
I think another life lessons I have is, if you want to be great, there really are no shortcuts. There's no like get rich quick scheme. There's nothing like that exists. You just have to roll up your sleeves, keep your head down, and really just work. And for someone like me, I truly believe that I have to give it my all. I want that chance, that greatness. Otherwise, I don't want anything. And to me, to be great, it means, be the best at what you do. But in order to be at the best at what you do, you do have to have a little bit of a larger purpose in mind. So trying to be the best at something that you're not passionate about necessarily is going to be a daily struggle, and eventually it's going to catch up. So I love entrepreneurship. That's what I truly love, and it's because I love it that I will always find a way to excel in it.
That's beautiful.
Mhm.
You have any other lessons for us?
I do. This one is, I only answer to me. I'm very self-aware. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. So that means I don't really care what anyone else thinks about me. With that self-awareness comes comes with a lot of realizations, but it also comes with a realization that the same characteristics that, make people love me are also the same that make others hate me, right? So that includes, like, I never give up. I hold myself to a really high standard, and I expect the people around me to do the same. So, like I said, I wouldn't want to answer to anyone else but me. And I think at its very core, that's the definition of freedom. So that's one. And then I think another one I have is, life is boring, so it's up to you to make it interesting. I believe that one of the greatest mistakes you can make in life is to be continuously fearing that you're going to make one. So it's from our mistakes that we learn, we grow, and we evolve as people. So if there's something you don't like about your life, be it your career, anything, it's up to you to make that change. No one's going to come into your life and change it for you.
I love that. It's taking control of what you have and what you don't have.
Right, exactly. So yeah, we'll see that where that takes me. Check back in next year.
We would love to. And, we'd love to keep this channel open. There's a lot of activity happening at your end. So good luck with that. And thank you for making the time to share your journey, what has happened in the past year, but also what's coming up. We're really excited for that. And thanks again for sharing your journey with our audience.
Thank you, Nathan. And thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
The pleasure is all ours.